Good morning and welcome to this guest expert session. I'm Michele, the Unshakable Mama, helping frazzled working mums who are determined to slow life down, improve your finances, achieve time and financial freedom so you can achieve your dream lifestyle, whatever that looks for you. And I'm really pleased today to be joined by Emma Benyon, busy coach for busy mums and self-care expert. Welcome, Emma. And we're going to be talking today about creating the mindful habit of giving thanks. We will explain the importance of this in a minute. But first of all, Emma, would you like to explain who you are, what you do, and why you do it in a little bit more detail?
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. So, I'm a coach for busy mums and self-care expert, and I'm also an educator. And I support mums very much like you, who are juggling it all with the tools to stay organized, to be more present with their kids, and to be calmer in their lives. And so, my mission is absolutely to empower busy mums to master their hectic lives so that they are not having the burnout. They are also able to, I guess, not have that guilt as well that's attached to those things that we kind of might need to do to support ourselves so that we can live with much more ease and much more joy. And that is a journey that, as many of us who work in this space, that I've been on myself and continue to be on, because we are always growing and always learning, and life is always changing, as are our children and where they're at in their lives as well. So yeah, that is me. And I'm just really excited to be here today and to support the mums in your community.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's lovely to have you here. We've chatted before, haven't we? And I was like, I need to get Emma back for sure, because we're so aligned in what we do. And yes, I've also been on that journey, which is how I've come to be supporting mums as well. You are your own best client, they say. We really
Absolutely.
know, we understand what you're going through. So what is the importance of giving thanks? Essentially, we're talking about a gratitude practice. Um, in my Facebook community this week, we've been talking about giving thanks and practicing giving thanks,
Mm-hmm.
just like a few minutes a day, like here and there throughout your days, in order to realize how fortunate you are, feel like the luckiest girl on earth,
Mm-hmm.
and try and we tend to get into this like habit of, oh, we haven't got enough, or this
Mm-hmm.
is lacking. So in your words, what is the importance of giving thanks?
I think it's massively important, isn't it? And it's something that I think we often overlook because we are so busy all of the time, especially as parents. We're juggling so much, aren't we? That actually that time just to pause and reflect, whether that's a daily practice of gratitude or a weekly or monthly or however it looks. But because we are so busy, that then just gets added to the bottom of the pile, doesn't it, in terms of a practice that we might bring in. And then with that, I think it's so easy to get caught up in the things that are going wrong, or the things that are not quite how we want them to be at the moment, or the things that we wish were happening and aren't. And so we focus on that more. And then because we're focusing on that, all we get is more of that. Our brain is then set to kind of um, look for more of that stuff that isn't working, isn't right. And that gratitude practice is so important to helping us look for the things that are going well.
Yeah.
Or, it might even just be a moment during the day. We're not necessarily talking about the whole day, but just those little pockets of time. And this links really nicely. So when I first started my business nearly 7 years ago, I was in that phase, as many of us are, as new mums, trying to navigate that space with a baby who doesn't sleep and doesn't want to eat and all of that chaos. And I remember at the end of the day being like, I've not achieved anything. I've not done anything. Like, I've been in the house all day. And when you flip that on its head, it's like, well, actually, I have.
Yeah.
I have done some stuff today, whether that was, being able to finally, at that point, drink a cup of tea that was actually hot and not cold, or whether it was being able to go for a shower without the baby screaming. Those were kind of the things at that time where actually they felt like little wins. And that I guess that kind of mindset shift of actually, well, let's stop focusing on the things that I haven't been able to achieve, because actually I'm juggling so much. And whether that's now for me with a 7-year-old or nearly 7-year-old, or with a baby, like we can't do it all.
No.
However, what we can do is celebrate those wins, those things that we are thankful for, that we are grateful for. And that for me launched into the Winning as a Mummy campaign, which it ties so nicely to the gratitude element, because actually they are the same. We're celebrating those wins and we're saying thank you for whatever that might be.
Yeah.
I don't think you can escape how important, if we want to be able to move forward with our lives and we want to be able to have more calm and have more ease, that actually we need to move into a space of having that gratitude, having that thanks, and having the intention of looking for those things rather than the things that haven't worked. And that kind of, they call it like a negged out space. I don't particularly like that word, but like being in that space. And so if we can move intentionally into, this is what I'm really grateful for right now, the shifts that can happen as a result of that are just incredible.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it can be so simple. Like you mentioned the cup of tea, that's an example I use a lot. I did a story a couple of days ago on my Instagram, and this was to sort of promote the giving thanks, Mindful Habit Creation Week. But I was walking down the farm track to go and pick my boys up from the school bus. It was pitch black. You couldn't even see me. It was really cold, as in we had snow later on. I had my earmuffs on, I had my coat on, and I had my gloves on. And I was so grateful for those three things. And the fact that I had a warm house to go back to. And when we keep it really, really simple, it can, it is life-changing, but it takes practice. It took me a lot of conscious decision to actually start practicing. And I just had to force myself at first to write 3 things down every day, every morning. And now it's just habit. Like everywhere I look, I like, oh wow, oh thank you for the light, thank you for the laptop and the technology, thank you for the fact that my boys are currently off school and I'm recording this in peace. You never know, touch wood. But the fact is I'm still at home while they're off, so even if they do interrupt in a minute. So yeah, no, it's very powerful. So you've mentioned a few things, how it's benefited you, but have you seen a specific way in which it's benefited yourself and your family?
I think for me in those early stages, it helped to move my mindset from a space that was just so negative, that was just so, I guess, in a space of lacking and maybe numbness would be the right word, into, a 7-year journey of, yes, there are days where, and we all have those days where we're like, this is rubbish, this is not working, like I've had enough, or whatever it might be, or I really want that and it's frustrating that I can't get to that place yet. To actually, have those moments, but then be like, actually, this is everything that I have got.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
And actually is that thing that I think is, or event or whatever it might be, that actually I feel is important. Is it actually that important? Because this is what I've got. And so I think in a way, it really helps you to evaluate what's important in your life.
Yeah.
Bringing it back to those core values of things are actually that, okay, this is what's important, and the other stuff is amazing, but actually I either don't need it, but actually what I've got I'm really grateful and happy with.
Yeah.
I think that just that more purposeful and intention of living your life in that way, that actually when things do go wrong or don't go your way or don't happen how you plan them to, or whatever that might be in whatever context, actually you're able to be more reflective about it because you have brought in that practice. So rather than, I guess, just sitting in maybe an angry, negative space, actually, okay, well, I feel like that because whatever, but actually, I'm grateful for this underneath all of that.
Yeah. Do you feel it in your body anywhere?
Always here,
Same.
which,
Yeah.
which is, it's that heart space, isn't it? Which is where we hold all that love and
Yeah.
compassion and gratefulness, which it's a beautiful space to keep it locked in as well, isn't it? Of just a reminder of actually on those days where things aren't going so well. Maybe you got up late or the kids didn't want to get dressed for school and it's been a struggle to get out of the house in the morning, or you forgot the jumper for Christmas jumper day or whatever it might be. Actually, you can be grateful for the other things. I think also it brings in a lot more humor and fun with life as well.
Yeah.
You know, um, there was a day where me and Isabella drove her to school, and we've got quite a long journey to school now. And I got to school and I was like, oh my God, I put her in the wrong uniform.
Oh, I've done that too.
And I was, you go into that instant panic
Mm.
of like, oh no, I'm a terrible mother. Like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. She's going to hate me. School are going to be angry. And I was like, actually, this is quite funny. Like, and Bella was like, no, mummy, this is not funny. Why are you laughing? And I think because you've done that mindset work, because you are sitting in a more kind of like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I can be really grateful that we got to school on time. You are dressed, your hair's done, your teeth's done, you've
The
had
car started.
breakfast. Yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
And actually, then there was this little thought that was like, you brought the other uniform. And I was like, how that's so we got changed in the car and it was fine.
And it all worked out.
I know it all worked out fine. But I think those moments, because you have been in that practice of being grateful, you've been in that mindset of, all the stuff that is incredible in your life, however small that might seem, that actually when those other things happen, you are able to navigate it with much more ease and maybe humor rather than, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. Because actually, she would have been fine at school in the wrong uniform. Like, it didn't really matter. Um, but in that moment, it absolutely does, doesn't it?
Well, in my case, I didn't realize until I picked him up from school. And so he'd gone through the whole day. And then I was like, oh, and I immediately saw the humor because he'd had a whole day of school.
Yeah.
And he wasn't actually fazed by it at all because he was, yeah. But I did feel a bit of a wally to start with. Had a bit of a laugh with the teacher about
Yeah.
it. But I know that I'm not the only one who's done that. Like you've
Mhm.
just said it, but like I know
Yeah.
that there were other people who did it, and there's always something to be something to laugh about. Like the cereal gets spilled
Absolutely.
all over the floor. Well, okay, it's not that funny at the time, and when you're trying to
No.
rush out the door. This is a real common thing that my clients talk to me about. Actually, it's like, oh, my kid dropped cereal over the floor or smashed a glass or something in the morning. But it's like, wow, okay, let's okay, well the cat's now licking it up. I don't know what there will be something that you can, or okay, it's
Mhm.
okay, it's fine. Like I have my spray. I am grateful for my cleaning spray. I'm grateful for my
Yeah.
cloths. If I don't, get my hair quite how I want it today, then it's not the end of the world
Mhm.
because I'm cleaning up. So yeah.
Absolutely.
So what would you say the common challenges are for mums when we're starting this practice? This mindful habit of
I think
gratitude
that,
journaling or
yeah,
practice or whatever.
however we bring in a new practice, whether it is journaling or whether it is, voice noting those gratitudes, whether it's writing it in our phones, whether it's writing it on bits of paper and putting it in a jar to share at the end of the year, like whatever it might be, the first challenge is actually starting, isn't it? And how we move from a place of not doing to doing and then doing it really well consistently. And I think often we want to jump from the not doing it to doing it really well consistently, but there has to be a process in the middle before we get there. And that comes with any habit that we're bringing in. It's not going to be perfect at the start. I've recently started running. I say I've recently started. I've done 2 runs.
That's more than me. So well done.
And there's a huge barrier to anything like that, whether it's journaling or whatever it might be, or starting a new kind of habit in terms of maybe eating or running or whatever it might be. And I guess you kind of go into it with, okay, it has to be perfect first time. I have to be able to do this, I have to be able to run for the full thing, or I have to be able to journal for the full week, or it's not worth it. Actually, just by showing up, you've taken the first step.
Yeah.
And you don't need to be perfect at it first time. If we were taking our child to, and I've just talked about this morning on my socials, like if we were taking our child to something new, we would absolutely be cheerleading them the whole way through.
Yeah.
All of those nativities. Maybe they're reading a prayer at church. Maybe they're doing, Bella did an elf dance for grandparents yesterday. Whatever it might be, you are absolutely cheerleading them 100% of that way. You can do this. You've got this.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
mess up, it doesn't matter. Just carry on. You did amazing. Well done. How often do we turn that back on ourselves? Because we often don't. And so we need to come into this process actually lowering those expectations of maybe I'm not going to get it right first time. Maybe it is going to take me 3, 4, 6, 8 weeks to start to be consistent with it. Actually, showing up and starting and cheerleading myself on the journey is absolutely the biggest thing that I can do to help me make progress on that journey.
And there's a very important word in this. It's gratitude practice, or yoga practice, or whatever. It's all a practice. Life is a practice. Life is a journey of evolution and of trying and failing and learning and trying again and doing it a bit better. And it's that, it is a practice. Like, we're not supposed to be able to do everything all the time. My gratitude practice, for example, I've said at the moment, like I'm very good at now at like just plucking it out of thin air in it. But I do have days where I don't practice. But I think the key is to start, like you said, see how it feels. And then you start to learn that actually when you're practicing, it makes you feel good. So that kind of gives you the evidence that something's happening. And then you are more inclined to want to practice more. But it is hard. It is hard to start. Yeah. Sure.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're already busy and you're like, oh, got so much to do already. But the thing is, this isn't an invitation to start super small and super simple. It's like just write 1 thing down, or one to between 1 and 3 things down to start with, and then see how you get on. And yeah,
absolutely. And I think you miss a day, you miss a couple of days, don't then start again. Like, it's not the end of the practice just because you missed a few days. Start again.
Exactly.
Or if we're heading into such a busy Christmas period, aren't we, that actually we might not have time, if we're going to write it down in a journal, to sit with our journal. The journal might not be with us when we actually have those couple of minutes too. So write it on your phone, voice note yourself, put it on a sticky note, whatever it might be, that kind of just still gives you that, but maybe you need to problem solve around it in that moment so that you can do it.
Say it out loud.
Say it out loud. Yeah.
Feel it.
Bring it in with the kids in the car on the way to school, or on, after school, before you eat your meals, whatever it might be. There's so many different ways of doing this, isn't there? It's not one set way that you have to practice gratitude. Actually, there are a million different ways that you could do that.
And it has to work for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Simple. The more we simplify life, the better life gets. It's a common theme in my life, in my nearly 45 years. But I'm so grateful for those nearly 45 years. Yeah, it's simplicity and awareness is key. So you have 3 life-changing gratitude prompts for busy working mums. so you can achieve balance and focus and freedom.
I
So,
do.
what are these prompts you would like to share?
So the first one is probably going to be the most obvious. However, it is one of the most important, which is, what are you most grateful for right now?
Mm. Right
What are
now,
you
in
right
this
now in
moment.
this moment? What are you most grateful for? And then the other ones kind of allow you to develop that a bit more deeper. So I absolutely love the prompt of, what did you learn from yesterday that you can bring into today?
Yeah.
Because with that, yes, we're looking at maybe the things that didn't quite go so well, but actually, what are the learnings from that that we can be so grateful for?
Mm.
And then the other one that really allows us to reflect, to, I guess, look for those things that maybe we need, that really align with our core values, that will then allow us to appreciate, what we do have more, is, what are you missing most right now? And then from that, if you then look at, how you might use those three in a day. So what are you most grateful for? What did you learn from yesterday that you can bring in today? What are you missing most right now? Then tomorrow you're going to start with, what are you most grateful for? What did you learn from yesterday? And they're really going to feed into each other to really help you to look for all of those things that you are grateful for, but also start to look for those things that maybe you are missing, that you can start to bring in more of, to
Yeah.
then bring into the gratefulness. And so it's a lovely kind of like flowing process of that reflection and evaluation.
And when you say missing, you're meaning like, what do you need? Do you,
Yes,
or not, rather than
absolutely.
not, what are you lacking in your life?
Yes.
Like, what do
What
you
do you
actually
need?
need? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Amazing. So that's a really lovely little structure to help get you
Mm.
started. So thank you so much for sharing those. That's great. And do you have any last words of wisdom for our ladies today?
I think just start. Just start is the word of wisdom, because that starting bit is often the most challenging. However, that one day where you just sit down with your phone, your journal, sticky notes, you sit with your children, your partner, whatever it might be, and you just start by, what are you most grateful for right now?
It's lovely. And I would like to add, because you mentioned about children, one of the practices that helped me start and consolidate and
Mm-hmm.
integrate this practice for myself was at every mealtime, because we like to sit together as a family
Mm-hmm.
to have our dinner. Every mealtime, I would go around and say, "So, what's made you most happy today? What do you feel thankful for?" That kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
with my husband and kids. And what I learned by doing this, like, we didn't do it every night by all means, but every so often I'd remember
Mm-hmm.
just to be like, "Oh, so let's ask them." And then with that practice, there were times when they asked me first, unprompted. And it was just really lovely. So it's teaching your children
Mm-hmm.
to look for the good in life and to learn how
Absolutely.
to receive more good in the life,
Mm-hmm.
law of attraction. So
Mm.
yeah, it's lovely.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so so much for joining me today. Do you have anything going on in your world at the moment that you want to share with our listeners
Yes,
today?
I would absolutely love to share, which links perfectly to what we've been doing today. Is I have three journals that are available over on Amazon. One is all about reviewing and reflecting your 2024, so you can move into 2025 with more intention. The second one is a 90-day journals for mums, which does all of the stuff that we've just been talking about over 90 days. And then the last one is called Rest and Refuel. And that journal is full of gorgeous journaling prompts that feature under 5 sections, and then pages for you to journal on in kind of a bit more of an unstructured way, but with the prompts at the start. So that is the thing that I would absolutely love to share and invite people to come and find out more about, because they are absolutely going to support mums to have more gratitude, have more intention and focus in their lives.
Beautiful. Yeah, you've been busy working on those journals, haven't you, this
I
past few
have.
months? I think so. Yeah, congratulations for bringing them to
Thank
the
you.
world. I will put your contact details in the notes below the
Amazing.
video. And all that remains is to say thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your expertise with us today. It's been really lovely to chat to you again. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Pleasure. Bye.
Bye.